Hey there, welcome to the after show for Houdini and Doyle. Today we're talking about episode 7, Bedlam. Are exorcisms real?
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Apparently I hadn't decided if I wanted to ask that question. It's okay.
Oh, that's what I knew to wake me up.
Hey guys, welcome to the Houdini and Doyle after show. Today we're talking about episode 7, Bedlam, exorcisms, insane asylums, and crazy stuff. Haha, pun intended. Apparently we're gonna have an amusing panel this evening. As usual, I love this show and this panel is super fun. You can find me online at, my name's Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's Karidlane. And I'm joined by my awesome co-hosts.
My name is Ty Matthews. Y'all can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, at Ty Matthews PMA. Various other after shows, most of them wrestling related, some of them magic related, like this one.
What are the others say when you say some?
Well, we did Magicians.
We did the Magicians
previously,
together.
There you go.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Look at that. I'm Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie.
Yes. And so this week I didn't have as many facts for you guys, but I did want to kind of confirm some of the stuff that happened in the episode. Yes, Doyle's father was an alcoholic and did have some insanity issues, which we talked about this before, but if you haven't watched the other episodes or the other after shows, 1, go watch them, and 2, it's all right, we'll catch you up. And yes, his father was committed to an insane asylum, so that is true. I don't have the specifics on what his aunt and uncles did, but yes, they were also artists like the father mentions. Wait, later. Now, I want to look up if he actually did kill Sherlock at the same time his father died.
Oh, right.
Because I do remember noting when his father died, but I would want to check when Holmes dies in the series.
Right.
It's good. Dies. But yeah, I'll have to look that up. But otherwise, kind of brief today. So we'll just jump to the episode. What do you guys think? I was excited for a exorcism episode. I was not expecting that.
Exactly, yeah. I think with each of these episodes, we go into it thinking like, okay, it's going to be X kind of episode. Then it goes like kind of in that direction, and then it veers off real sharp. But I love how kind of like introspective this one got. And we got so much backstory and so much history and so much kind of pathos and stuff like that. And so I think, yeah, that's something where on the surface it seemed like, oh, it's gonna be kind of like neat and sort of like horror-y and like, you know, like crazy asylum stuff, but like, no, we're getting really deep into minds and into relationships and into, you know, familial relationships. So I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Well, I'm always a sucker. That's what I love about like television as a medium or film, just any visual thing where, I mean, you can have those kind of emotional catharsis for a character, and you can show that it's something you couldn't achieve in real life, but you can see it demonstrated fictionally. And I'm always a sucker for those sort of moments. So I thought this one was a really cool moment of that.
I thought you were going to say you're a sucker for insane asylum horror stuff, because I love those. I love those movies.
There's not a good about them. Yeah.
We haven't really gotten into like the sort of hallucination type territory in the show yet, have we? Like, we got a little bit of kind of crazy stuff with Spring Hill Jack, but
the very first episode they were seeing something, but that wasn't really hallucinations.
Oh, right.
That was the power of suggestion.
Yeah, but with this, yeah, just
not
a whole,
a drug.
like,
no.
Right.
I don't think so.
A whole like with Doyle speaking to his father on this whole other plane
Super
of consciousness. Yeah.
Well, let's clarify. They're also very distinct and clear hallucinations. They're not just like a dream of you going and like one image fading into another, or not concrete. This one is very specific and concrete.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so we get to open up on the creepy confessional. Already I was like, this confessional is kind of creepy. And I was like, the girl's very upset. She's very upset about the darkness. And did the priest sound strange to you? He sounded strange to me. Like,
strange like how?
You have nothing to I don't know, the way he talked, I was like, I don't trust him. But then lo and behold, she attacks him. That was a surprise. And then I was like, exorcism episode? Exclamation point. I was like, surprise. Because the trailers for next time, it was just going to be like a insane asylum episode.
Right.
And then like,
lots of straight jackets and stuff.
Yes. And so it was Molly Morgan. Poor girl. But, you know, a funny thing which they've done in horror movies and stuff is when you have people who can be more double jointy bendy, that's automatically like creepy.
Oh, sure.
And I mean, she does die, but
Right.
I'm thinking other movies though, people are like, well, it's actually not really that big of a deal.
Right.
I don't know, if anything, Cirque du Soleil shows us, like, you can do it.
Oh, sure. Well, and a
Sort
lot
of.
like I think The Grudge was big with that too. A lot of bendies.
Yeah.
Or even that like that supposed possession movie a few years back that was kind of like supposed like a found footage movie. That
Oh,
kinda
sure,
did, where the
sure.
girl could contort
Yeah.
herself, and she was just exceptionally
You just
limber.
find a contortionist.
Yeah, you know.
You know, that's what you do. So we jump over to Doyle, who's very upset, and he's drinking.
Right.
Not a good
Just
sign.
staring those blank pages down.
Ugh. You know, little tiny bit of advice. I'm not a writer, but I do remember this advice from a writer, and I really liked it, is if you are having a writer's block, write anything. Write your grocery list. Write something else, because then at least you're writing something.
Absolutely.
And I was like, that's actually really good advice. Because, yeah, the blank page.
It's daunting.
I mean, I write
It is
articles, but
daunting.
I don't write, fiction. But, yeah, you need to start with something. Otherwise, yeah, you're just like, I don't know how to start.
Right. And plus, I mean, you're going out and you've already dismissed and killed off, this world-renowned character already, and it's like, all right, now
How do
I
you
gotta.
start?
How do I start?
Yeah.
Where I've got to. Everybody's going to compare me to this.
Yes.
So how do I top myself, or at least equal myself in this? I can imagine that would just be like, oh, this isn't good enough. This isn't good
Oh,
enough.
yeah.
And he's using stuff, like the Great Boer War, where he's not really getting to be creative. So I
Yeah.
think that handcuffs him even more.
Yeah. And then we see a couple shots later how many pages are in the trash can. So, but he wrote a lot on some of those pages. But yeah, and he's looking at some old photos and some estate papers, but we don't really know what's going on. And then the team is at the church. I'm gonna call them the team. I think I've called them the team
It's
before,
the
but
team.
they're the team.
You know, Mod Squad.
And the girl apparently had been frightened to death, which. Did you think, when I think frightened to death, my first thought is like a heart attack.
Right.
Like your heart stops. But the way they did it is like, okay. But I like that they had a scientific explanation.
Right, exactly.
frightened
Yeah.
to death.
Yeah, just something to get them to that point where they could say like, oh, she was basically frightened to death.
Cool. It's
Lots
like,
to talk about adrenaline and yeah.
That makes sense. She had the strength of a human. Adrenaline. Thank you, Houdini.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then,
But-
of course, Houdini jumps in with a story of his own.
Yes.
Oh, it's like when I jumped into Lake Michigan and
Yeah.
had to punch through 8 inches of ice.
Okay, did you notice his finger?
No.
Okay, Michael holds up his finger. I'm on a first name basis. No, I'm just kidding.
all right.
He holds up his finger and it's like bent. Kind of funny that I wonder if that's his actual. Is that your real like? I mean, mine is a little bit like I have it go a little, but not his. Actually bends a lot. Like it's not a very straight. Anyway, I noticed, but yeah, people have been known to do extraordinary things under duress and stress and adrenaline, like lift up cars or
Right,
something
exactly.
like that. So
If the Incredible Hulk has taught us anything,
yes.
that's right.
Exactly.
Well, if anything, it's later on to the mind. If you pain is just actually, I've been watching a lot of Dollhouse, so I was
All
like, this
right.
is a thing on Dollhouse.
All right.
I'm super behind on that one, but powering through that. But pain is just your nerves telling your brain information. So if you could turn off that connection, you could do a lot of things, but you would possibly do damage to yourself. But you could
Right.
probably do extraordinary things. So that's like the people who don't feel pain, but then they can often have more damage. But
Right, exactly.
side note.
Do you feel like this episode, though? Did you feel like they're already at the crime scene? Like, did you miss the absence of the paper boy?
I was just going to say the
I know, like,
newspaper.
man, they got there fast. How did they know about it? They don't really. Good point, because I was wondering how'd they get there. Like,
Did you want to
why
at least
this
see him
place?
like in the background of like leaving after he like he
Hold
just
the
like
paper. Doyle is holding a newspaper for quite a bit of time.
Right.
But we don't
There is
see any
some
headline.
newspaper action, yeah.
Headliners, we need you back. But that one, they do just suddenly appear there. It's not like, why did they call this team? But is this like the X-Files team that, hey, there's a weird case. Oh, we got some people for you. Hold on, they're on their way.
Houdini
Yeah.
Doyle and
Yeah.
that lady
And
constable.
that lady, you have a lady constable? All
I
right,
love
send her
every
along.
single episode there has to be like a black sheriff?
Yeah. But it is one of those, if there's not that many, you would be surprised, and, you know.
Oh, sure.
At least this one, it was a child saying it, being surprised.
Right.
Although it does make me want
It
to
is
go
getting a little old.
cut to Scotland Yard and see the other cops that are just like basically sitting around like, why don't we ever get cases anymore?
Just,
like,
yeah, nothing.
it's a Houdini and Doyle.
Yeah,
what are
they're
they
getting
doing?
everything. No, they're getting the real cases. All right, so then in a more serious note, we get the question and debate of, do you believe in evil? And Stratton is religious, and so she makes a good point of, like, if I believe in God, why don't I believe in Lucifer? And Houdini's little retort of, like, well, if you believe in fairy tales, you don't have to believe in all of them. Oh, Need some ointment for that burn? It's
Of
like,
course he's gonna say that. Yeah.
that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, how could you not ask a religious question though in a church of like, is it evil?
Sure.
And Doyle being religious, he would lean on that way. But that's interesting. Houdini being Jewish is a little bit more like no. But I don't think that necessarily is a reflection of his faith, but I think it's more like his heritage rather than his practice.
Right.
Like he's more Jew by culture rather than
Sure.
religious beliefs of what he does. Yeah. At least in this show so far.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't really done anything of faith per se.
Not really, no.
No.
And I think, just being such a hardcore, rational and logical
Yes.
thinker, I think, he strikes me as the type to be like, I have no proof. Why would I?
And that's why he loves Sherlock Holmes.
Perfectly. Yeah, exactly.
Which we find a little bit later. Then we get over to the girl has a thing on her coat or on her dress. It's BRH, Bedlam Released Patients. So that is the asylum, and then she had a mark. Oh, she had a weak. They go to the asylum and they find out she had a weak heart and she had delusions. So, maybe she's not possessed. She already had delusions, which is interesting. Then we meet Dr. Randall. He released her, and that they wanted to do he believes more in lobotomy and electric shock.
He's trying to cure fear itself.
Yeah.
Like, I love this sort of kind of the ultimate power.
Actually, I think that's the other doctor.
Randall wants to do that.
Randall wants
Randall
to cure
does.
fear, and then
Yeah, this is Randall we're talking about.
Pilsen is the black guy. Yes, I mean.
Oh no, Randall's the black guy.
Okay.
Pilsen's the white guy.
So they meet Pilsen first. Sorry.
Yes.
I read the wrong one. There we go. Oh, because he's talking about Randall. Randall released her, Pilsen. Because I didn't hear him introduce himself saying, I'm Pilsen.
Right.
But anyway. And this is a case where there's one white doctor and one black doctor.
Right.
Not being racist, just saying.
And I did like how he said, and I've chastened him severely.
Yes.
I chastened him severely.
And then he's, I like how Doyle is not a fan, and he's like, oh, you've made them houseplants. Yeah,
Right.
lobotomy, that would be one of my, ultimate, you're not you anymore.
Oh,
that's
sure.
the vegetable thing. Oh, we've had that coma discussion. You're not you. Because your personality is right here in your brain, so if this is damaged, you're not you.
Right. The lights are on, but nobody's home.
Then you got to get that part in the back. Then we got 3 patients. We meet some of the patients, and 3 patients think they're Holmes.
Yeah. Oh well, I like even before going there where he said where patients here lived in their own filth, and rich patrons could pay a shilling and watch them. Like,
thank you for noticing that. That was kind of like,
jeez Louise.
Yeah.
rough.
It was rough.
Yeah.
But I totally believe it. Them Victorian people, yes.
But I cleaned it up.
Yes, that's what they used to do. Then we meet the patients, and one guy, he thinks they're Holmes, and what did you guys think of that? I thought that was hilarious.
That was great.
I'm Sherlock Holmes. Nice to meet you.
And he's so obviously he truly believes it, but he thinks that he's that Doyle is spinning these inaccuracies.
Yes.
He's counted 87 different inaccuracies that he's planning on taking legal action over.
I like that actor. He did a great job too.
Just for the record, his name is Wilson.
Right, Wilson,
Yes.
not Watson.
Yes.
For posterity.
Which I don't have my notes from last time, but what was his name? Remember the doctor I told you that Doyle worked under? I don't think he was a Wilson though. I'll have to double check. I will double check that. And be like, Wilson.
And I love, he says, you didn't make me, I made you.
Yes.
And it's such an intense
Which
kind of
that's
confrontation.
kind of an interesting statement to an author. I saw a short film and they actually had a similar concept too of I'm the one who's writing this, you're not, or something like that. Which there are authors that say their characters take over. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess the closest thing you could get to really meeting somebody you've been writing about is to have an insane person feel that they are that character.
I thought, Ty, you'd be so excited about this because you're like, we're going to meet someone else who's like a Sherlock Holmes, not a cosplayer.
Oh, right.
We get a
that's
real live person who thinks he's Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes, right.
And apparently there is a common delusion that possession is a thing. But you know what? Within the insanity of being crazy, possession actually is a pretty logical way to make you feel better about what's going on. Of it's not me, it's a force on me. Which that would maybe explain why it's a common delusion.
Sure.
I use that all the time.
It wasn't me, I was possessed.
No, there's a force on me, guys.
Yeah. And then they find out that there is a defrocked priest who might be the possessed, and he talks to some of the other patients, so they're gonna go check on him. And Doyle, we go back to Doyle's study. He's very grumpy, yells at his son, which I don't think he doesn't yell at them. He gets tired by them, but he doesn't yell.
No, yeah, I think this was us seeing Doyle at his rock bottom between the drinking and yelling at Kingsley and poor kid.
But then we get a memory of his father yelling at him, so it's that kind of vicious cycle. Mm-hmm.
And the Cats in the Cradle started playing at that moment.
Yeah. Yep. And then we get another exorcism, and we get a man freaking out. And then the team is there, and he's been lobotomized, and they couldn't save him in time.
All I thought about during that scene where you actually see them try to perform that exorcism, it's like, man, the guy looks like so much like Max von Sydow. the priest, I was like, man, they did a really good job.
Didn't he?
Yes. I was like, wow, all right.
I was trying to think of who he looked like. That's exactly
They probably
right.
specifically we need someone who looks these specifications. Yeah. Then we get Houdini calling out Doyle about being weird. He's like, okay, what's wrong with you? But then we get Doyle going, okay, it's been hard keeping Holmes dead and writer's block.
And I like Houdini's just saying, well, we'll let him live.
Yeah.
I mean, why keep fighting against this? People want this.
Mm-hmm. And then he's just like,
you wouldn't understand, man.
But I was happy he opened up. He kind of was like, fine, you know what? He just wanted to tell somebody, be like, it's so hard.
Right, exactly, yeah.
I mean, because I wonder, like for Houdini, I mean, he does. Everybody knows him for doing like the all these illusions and putting himself in that tank, going underwater for all that time. Does he get tired of that? I mean, you'd imagine, but the audiences want to see that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So I wonder, in some way, can he kind of relate to that, or is he like, no, I just do it because the audience loves us, so just do it. Just do what the audience loves.
Both.
Right.
Because I think Houdini hams it up and loves it. But he could be kind of like, he might be more likely want to do something new rather than be tired of something old, but have the urge to want to do something new.
Right, exactly.
Break some new trick, you know?
And not only that, but on the same, on these victims, we've been seeing the same configuration of these marks kind of.
Yeah.
And you can kind of tell right away they're in sort of a pentagram kind of shape.
Yep, right there. I was on this minute. Man has the same spots as a woman. It suggests a pentagram.
Couldn't you suggest anything out of those dots? So you give me those same dots and I could connect it to something else.
But Houdini does that. He's like, humans see faces and patterns, which is true. If you haven't noticed that, you'll see faces in all kinds of weird places.
Seeing Jesus on toast.
Oh, that expression seemed a little too weird for me to use in that time period.
Jesus on toast?
Yes.
Exactly, right.
Like, that seems a little too early for that
How
reference.
much was that happening in 1901?
They're like, it's the writer's opinions that they're like, let's put that in there. And then we know that the pentagram is, it's Abaddon?
Abaddon.
Abaddon. Okay, I wrote it that way. I'm all Abaddon. And then we get to, Stratton has this book on all these interesting symbols. And of course, Houdini's like, oh, that's a Polish anarchist group. How do you know?
Yeah. When they're talking
ring,
about the symbol in the ring.
Sorry, we jumped a little bit there. But they see the ring, and it's Adelaide's husband's ring, and I like that. Yeah, Houdini immediately knows what it is, and she found her husband hung.
Right, because he's trying to stop them. He's trying to stop the group of Polish anarchists.
Hanging from the ceiling. That sucks.
Yeah.
I was gonna make a bad joke.
Please
Go
do
on.
now.
No, I already
Can't
said
ring
it.
that bell.
No, I already said it.
What's it? Just hanging around?
No, he was already hung, but.
Well, all right.
I'm sorry, but I wrote it and
She wrote it down too. This is gonna get him. This is gonna get him in the after show. I can't wait.
No, I was just like, as soon as I said it, I was like, but not that way. He was hanged.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go.
And but that sucks. Like to walk in and find your lover dead, and like you're the one who discovered him.
Pretty lousy.
Yeah, that well hung lover.
We make jokes on this show, and it's entertaining if you haven't noticed. All right, and then it's her husband's book anyway. So then we get back to the priest. They're going to talk to him. His name is Nathaniel. You like his pentagram on his forehead too? It kind of looked like scarification of he had scarred himself. I couldn't tell how fresh of a wound that was, or if he, because it didn't look like he drew it. That actually looked like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
or his fingernail maybe, because they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, I love Houdini's, like, when he has a straight jacket and he's like, I got one like that at home too. Ah. But his he can get out of.
I noticed like Houdini was just dressed so dapper. I mean, they both were, but I was like, well, that's a nice vest you're
Right?
rocking,
With the
Houdini.
tie tack and
Yeah,
everything.
I was
and-
digging that look.
They always look sharp on
Right?
the show. But Houdini has lots of money, so it makes sense that he's like,
Sure.
I want some nice clothes,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But yeah, and then in that, well, and then also in comparison to all the people at the asylum, it's like, ew, not so nice. Then we go into Dr. Randall wants to find, maybe I wrote their names differently. So we got what's the other doctor? Pilson?
Pilson.
Thank you. So that's Pilson that they meet, the defining your fears by writing them down. Thank you. So we got Dr. Pilson saying if you define your fears, you put them on paper, and then that makes it easier to move forward. But says that Randall he feels that makes men fear, and that will make them run to God. Which is an interesting two doctors approach at an asylum. Then we have Doyle out and exploring. And then I was like, abandoned apartment? Oh, wait, that's his. He owns that loft. Or that flat. I was like, that British way. It's
Sure.
the flat. And then he has a memory of his father being taken away, so we expand on that memory. Actually, we see it more from the other side, because before we just saw him, so now it's like, oh, that's
And even as he's being taken away, he's
Don't
yelling at him to
whine.
stop his whining.
Yeah.
That is commitment.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That
No matter
father's
what.
To
rough.
being a dick.
Yes. And then he grabbed his father's file, which apparently he was like, yeah, all these files. He's like, this one's deceased. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna take it with me. Then we find out it's his dad, which I mean, it totally makes sense. Like, would you grab, if you knew your parent had been there, would you grab their file to see what they said about him?
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially if you were just kind of curious. I mean, you were such a young child when
Yeah.
he was put away. Like, what happened to him while he was inside there?
And especially if you're a doctor, that you'll know what it's saying in there too. Because I mean, a regular person, you could gather what it says in a way, but if he knows what it is, which kind of probably make it worse in a way. And then he obviously gets extremely upset about it and how they treated his father.
But then he finds that scene seemed weird to me, where he pulls apart the paper and then he finds
That was
The
weird.
paper inside the paper.
Yeah.
Like, how does his dad get that letter inside his own
Yeah.
file?
That was weird. I don't know. How do you guys think it got in there? It's a good question. Leave a comment.
Yeah,
'Cause, good point. Because I was like, wait, where is that coming from?
Yeah.
How'd that get there? I don't know.
And what other thing to be like, okay, I'm gonna rip this apart. Like, how would you even think that?
Right, exactly.
It's almost like the invisible ink of, how do you know? And you hold it to the light.
Lemon juice.
Yeah. Then we got Stratton saying that 4 out of 5 of the people are okay. 1 is still left to be found. And then she hid a file, but of course Houdini noticed.
Of course.
You can't hide it if he's already there.
No.
Because he'd be like, so that file you hid. Then he'll point it out more. Actually, she would have been better if she had left it.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. Don't draw
Don't
attention
draw
to
atten-
it.
Yep, that's
It's
right.
That's like
the Streisand effect.
You're like looking down at it.
Yeah.
It is. That's literally what it's called.
And yeah, apparently don't draw attention to it. That's how
The
they're
more,
going to find it.
the more you tell people not to look at it, the more people
yeah.
are gonna direct their eyes to it.
That's like, don't look. What?
Right. Well, now.
Yes, it's one of those. And then it was thought that her husband had gambled away their money, but she does not believe it. There's a little more conspiracy information going on there. So do you think he?
No, well,
was
and Nigel
bad
thought
stuff?
there was some embezzling going
Yes, but she's like, nope.
And he wasn't a gambler; he was a romantic.
on. Right.
He wanted to kiss her on top of the world. Oh, there's a little heart for you guys.
You seem so jaded, Kari.
No, no. It's just he was like, oh, and I like how crushed Houdini is. He's like, oh, I can't compete with that.
Right, and of course, yeah, of course they're mutually exclusive.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
But you have a lot of money, Harry.
Right.
You could easily compete
You could
with
do
that.
something.
Yeah, he can think of something else.
Your giant faces on the side of buildings.
Yeah. No, it was wonderfully cheesy. It kind of came out of nowhere for her to be such a romantic too, to like it so much, because she seems a bit more like
Right.
practical.
A little
So
more
apparently
stoic,
she's
kind
a
of.
romantic. Aww.
Well, it's nice to find her start to open more up
Yes.
about this. Finally, it's like, all right, how long were you kind of just beating that dead?
Yeah, because the guys know now that she can't really hide anymore. It's like, you may as well tell them.
Yeah.
It's like she has 2 younger brothers.
That's exactly right.
They're older and younger at the same time. No, Houdini's her younger brother and Doyle's her older brother.
Right.
That's how it is. Because Doyle's the more protective one, and Houdini's like, I'm gonna bother you. I'm gonna bother you.
Yes.
Hey, who's Nigel? Who's Nigel? Who's Nigel? Who's Nigel? Who's Nigel?
She's like, fine, I'll tell you.
Shut up.
And then we have Houdini does notice that Doyle's not around, and prior to that, Doyle goes after the doctor, and apparently he appears very crazy, which, don't go after people when you're drunk, because it's going to make you seem crazy.
And not just committed. A little drunk. He is wild now.
He looked bad. His eyes, good effect on the eyes.
Oh, yeah.
His eyes look like crap. You're like, no. And then while he's committed, he later gets a roommate. And guess what? It's the guy who thinks he's Sherlock. Which is very funny. But in a way, that's kind of cool because you get to talk to your character.
Sure.
Yes.
Out of yourself, sort of. But yeah, I think that'd actually be a really fun experience to be able to like talk to them and not have it be like you're repeating yourself.
Right. Yeah, just saying it from a different perspective.
Feel like you're talking to someone else.
Right.
And then I wrote down it's almost like therapy. He kind of had this moment to talk out his problems and get through certain things.
Sure.
And then, yeah, he mentions that it was only months after the father died they killed Sherlock, so I will check on that fact because I was very curious on how accurate that was.
And I did like his response to Holmes about why he killed Sherlock, and he said Holmes was a lightweight and stood in the way of something more profound.
Yeah.
So like, I'm curious to see what he thinks is so much more profound.
Yeah,
Good
definitely.
point. Good point. And then they find out that he learns that Ergot causes hallucinations in A Study in Scarlet, which that was pretty cool. They started to go, wait, I'm in my own head, which that is fun.
Yeah. Well, I did like first where he starts all of a sudden as being so reluctant to engage this guy as really Holmes to when he brings up Ergot to like, then he starts kind of get more engaged.
He
like,
goes,
all right,
wait, yes.
Right, exactly.
And then we got Houdini and Saunders. What show am I thinking of? Stratton at Doyle's house, and Stratton meets the son, which I thought was funny that I guess she hadn't met the kids till then. So, but we're here going to find your father. Oh, go team, go.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's tough. When do you introduce your kids to your cop partner friend?
Your coworkers.
Yes.
Right.
He's like, you're really a cop?
When have you gotten to that point in the relationship?
Well, Houdini just comes over and hangs out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course he does.
But he's a lady friend and he is married, so that would be improper for her to come over. True. Then they go over to Nathaniel's. We got Doyle and his counterpart. They go to Nathaniel's cell, and then they go, wait, Pilson is the suspect. And then, wait, Nathaniel knows about his father. He's like, how could you know about my father? He was here. And then he twists his own neck. What?
That was pretty gnarly.
I was like, I'm pretty sure you can't do that. Which then we learn he didn't really do that.
Well, if you guys read Dark Knight Returns, I mean, we saw the Joker do that, guys. So, I mean,
But that's the Joker.
that's pretty real, guys.
But that's the Joker. I can bet he could. Then Doyle thinks he's about to get the lobotomy, which, yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's essentially like just kill me now moment.
Right.
And then how'd you like it switching between the different doctors and female voice too?
There was so much happening in this episode, but especially this scene.
Yes.
I had to like stop it and go, okay, this doctor's doing this. This doctor's doing this. This guy thinks he's Holmes, but I like how his whole entire ruse was just like based on he had to act like he was betraying him before.
Yes. I did love that too. And he's like, I just had to do this because then it would work with my cover. I had other scenarios.
Right. This guy's a genius. He's
a good person on your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought all this was really happening.
I still think it was really happening.
Yeah, because when you see that scene back when he's talking to Randall by himself, and he has this kind of like a vacant look right there, I was like, something happened in this room.
Right.
And so I figured like from that point, I knew something was off with him, but I did not realize to the extent that we see what happens.
I was going to say, as soon as he was offered tea and goes, yes. I'm like, no, something's weird.
Yeah.
Something's weird. And then multiple doctors, and the patient shows up and rescues him, and yes, I love that. But then Doyle goes, wait, how do you know about Ergot? Because that was a revision that didn't happen, blah, blah. And then they end up back in the cell, and then that's when he has his aha. Oh, wait. I mean, it kind of happens later, but we can pretty much say that he goes, I know this is all in my head now, which that's pretty awesome to finally get to that point where you're like, oh wait, this is all in my head, which that's kind of what I called in my predictions from last time. I'm like, it's either going to really be I mean, I did kind of go, it's either or, but this was my other thought. I'm like, it's all going to be in his head, which I like that.
Absolutely.
It was a cool way to do it because I'm like, I don't think he's really going to get locked up. But
Right.
He did, in a way, lock himself up because that's
true.
his own fantasy of working through the problems. And then we get Houdini and Stratton finding Doyle on the ground at his desk. Need to get him to a doctor. So I think they just kept him at his home, and a doctor arrived there.
Okay.
So, because I was like, the kids were there, so I felt it was his house. Because at first I
Yeah.
thought it was at a hospital, but then it's like, oh wait, no, it's his house, and a doctor showed up. And then Houdini goes, it's Ergot. Because apparently he knows. And the kids come in, and they're not leaving their father, and they need an antidote. And what happens with the antidote, I totally knew that was going to happen, too.
Oh, that was so corny.
Oh, it was. And Doyle sees Tui in his fantasy. Aww.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
that was rough.
But then we find out, jumping back to the real world, rye fungus is ergot, and you could put it in tea. How do you like that? Houdini's like, I poisoned the tea, so I hope you have an antidote.
Yes.
Exactly.
And he actually meant it this time compared to the other time.
Oh,
That's
when
true.
he gave him the
Yes.
yeah.
Well, because this one is like, no, we know you're doing it. So
Right.
you better have the antidote. And what do you like? What do you think of his motives? He was gonna, if you can cure fear, you could save people from their madness.
I mean, I always like, villainous characters thinking that they're doing, what's best for the greater good.
Nobody thinks they're evil.
Right, exactly. Yeah, even the most vile villains in history have thought they were doing good, and so I like this kind of deepening of this justification. Like by doing this, we can save people, we can cure madness, we can end madness.
Of course.
But I feel like there's like some fear is necessary in life.
Well, yeah, it's part of our survival instinct. We would take insane risks and kill ourselves if it weren't for fear.
That's what extreme adrenaline junkie people do instead. So we'll let them go do it.
Right, exactly.
But yes, there is a balance of you need to fear something because then otherwise you do put yourself in danger. So there's a balance. Again, it's all about balance and moderation.
Rachel Lee Cook taught us well in that one season of that show where she didn't have fear, and so she would do crazy things, and she fought crime.
What season was it?
I can't remember the name of the show, but it was she could not experience fear, and so she would do
Dynamite reference from Frank Moran.
Yes.
Wait, what's the show?
I have no idea, but it was a hell of a reference from Frank Moran.
Yes.
Thank you, Mark. Thank
We'll
you.
have to look it up later. Then back to Doyle, and then he wants to. That Tui's trying to kind of keep him there,
Right.
which is weird because that's like your subconscious kind of like, don't fight it. It's like pulling you in.
Oh, sure.
It's like the Lotus people, like the, in like mythologies, if you just stay in the happiness and you're just in the drugs and not going anywhere, you're not gonna do anything.
And she dressed really sexy to really seal the deal for that too.
And she lied though. Of course I know how to ski. He's like, no, you don't.
No, it was just his matrix,
Yeah.
Like it was like Joe Pantoliano asking him if he could taste the steak or not.
And then, but pain is real, so is the joy. Oh, yeah, that was sweet. I like that though too. Of like that's why sometimes bad things are okay, because then if you don't have that, you can't appreciate the ups as much.
Right.
I would have liked to maybe just see like a little name check for the kids, because at no point does he mention like, hey, I also want to be there for for our children
also-
too.
Kingsley
Those two.
Maybe that's the joy. But she doesn't talk about them either too. So apparently, no, he's not.
No.
Not in the forefront of his mind.
Kids are kids.
Kids, children, what?
Wear more of
then,
those schlumpy clothes. I love you, Dewey.
but then he thinks that you can beat the hallucination, which that was pretty cool. And I like that, of like how to save yourself from the inside.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was like he's got a euphoria. Was
Yes.
his way that'll constrict the blood vessels enough that'll
And
kind
it'll
of
be a
stop.
surge of calcium, and
Yes.
I was like, that's cool. But that was a neat way to do it, and then it's also you saving yourself in the end, which it is. If like not, it's you have to do it on your own. Outside help is not going to fix the problem. There's a nice little metaphor too of sometimes you need that outside help, but sometimes you're the one who has to do it yourself.
So that's like cool, like those like Doc Savage-esque kind of thing. Somebody that's in control of their body to such a detail that they can control those little minute things. And you're like, oh, that's a cool ability.
And of course, it's a doctor that knows like what I could do to myself to make it do something,
Right.
else.
Yeah.
Very house-like.
Oh, there you go.
Very. If I do this drug to do this result. But that's okay, because I love House, and I finally finished that. I don't know if I said that before. I finally finished.
Oh, did you?
I watched all of it. But I finally finished it recently.
Oh, good.
It took me a really long time to get through all of it. But it was one of those, like, if you have it on DVD or not, and it's on Netflix.
Sure.
Side note. But if you guys don't know, people who make this show, made House, can I do it? Some of the actors from it too.
I think that Rachel Lee Cook show was named Reckless. I'm going to throw that out. Maybe it's a potential title. I'm going to throw that out. We'll just see if I'm right.
We'll look it up after.
There you go, guys.
Yeah. And then, yes, I get that Houdini trips. I knew it. And then I was worried about him running. Because I'm like, it's in your hand and you're running outstretched.
but he loses it in the corniest way possible, like an old man in a wheelchair. Like, that is the worst way.
Yes.
I mean, he's avoiding horse-drawn carriages. People are running around the streets, and then this old man slowly moving with the wheelchair.
Out of the way! It was so bad. I'm sorry, guys. That was one part we all were like, womp womp. No, not a fan. And then we get the idea in Doyle's head that he made Sherlock to hurt his father, the alcoholic madman. And then that was a really neat idea that you get a chance to talk with your father, even though it's not really him, but enough of him. Mm-hmm. Or there's a question, is it a bit of him? Which Doyle would believe that.
Was he near enough to death that I mean, he was able to have some sort of connection?
Yeah.
Right.
I bet Doyle would totally 100% believe that.
Oh, sure.
And then the father admits that the alcohol was real and then the madness was also real. So he's not saying, like, he's sorry, but he's not 100% sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
I had these things. I had these problems.
Right.
Yeah.
But I liked when he said, when I read your work, that's when I came to despise you.
Yeah. Because he's surrounded by these artists and by this creativity that he wishes so desperately that he had.
Yes. Which I'll look it up specifically, but I do remember that being a case of, not that he was upset, but that he did have artistic siblings.
Sure.
The father. But, what a backhanded compliment. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad. So the dad is jealous. And then the dad's like, I want to do something I never got to do. So that's exactly what Doyle wants, is he wants a hug. That was so sweet.
I mean, I was, as I said, a sucker for that moment. I was like,
absolutely,
Yes,
yeah.
it was.
And yeah, when the dad even says that his death didn't even warrant a single obituary,
and everybody's upset about your cartoon.
I mean, yeah.
But it's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we all kind of think of, like, how we remembered after we die, or, who comes to your funeral or whatever. And, yeah, that would be kind of like, nobody cared that I passed. And...
Well, and that's the other thing that I liked about that character. We said Holmes was a character who was contemptuous of everything that I was.
Yep.
I was like, wow, all right.
It was his way of lashing out.
Yeah.
So, it's like, well, he gets a hug. It is the release. It is the euphoria he needs. And then... I noticed that the kids went over and hugged Stratton and not Houdini, whom they already knew.
Right.
Okay, that's not just a you're a lady. That was weird.
Well, I don't think it's weird. I think it's a testament to just like Houdini isn't really. I mean, I guess we've seen him be like good with kids.
Yeah.
But he's kind of, I don't know. He's not really a paternal figure, and so I think they would just run to Stratton. Because
the stranger who we met once, and we know Houdini a couple times.
We've seen that she's better with kids than Houdini is.
Yeah. True.
Although it is interesting that Houdini, after he blows with the antidote, when he walks in, nobody ever says, "Oh, where's the antidote?" Nobody asks him.
I think there was a look by Stratton at him. I noticed she kind of looks at him, and he kind of did a down. But yeah, nobody asked. I did notice that as well, but I want to say the most they did was Stratton looking at him and him having kind of avoiding her eyes. He's like, my bad. Yeah. And then Doyle explains to the kids he was mad at himself. Aw, but that was nice. That was good to be like, I'm not mad at you, it's me, myself, which you need to tell children because children don't know how to process that and they're just going to think it's something they did.
Right.
It's really already immediately breaking the cycle.
Yes. Good job. And he's like, great. And then Houdini hiding that he was worried. Yeah, those guys were worried about you. Not me.
You get me scared.
Yes.
Man, I'll tell you.
Yeah, Stratton's like, all three of us. And then she points out, well, Houdini solved the case. And then Doyle's like, oh, it's Sherlock Holmes. It's all mine. And then Doyle goes, wait, Houdini, you solved it. How'd you know about the ergot? And then he's like, you wipe that grin off your face and just telepathic.
Just a burst of inspiration.
Yeah. Where do you think inspiration comes from? I thought it was actually because he read his books, but again, if that was the thing that didn't make it into the story, so that's true. So where did he randomly popped in his head? Boom.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
wait, I'm sorry. We did say, just to give drugs, we did mention the alien one. That was the one that had hallucinogens. Yes, we said that.
Did we see hallucinations?
Yeah, because the Murdoch route and all those things. But they were hallucinating though, right? Yeah, they were because they couldn't remember. It was more like messing with your memory.
Oh, okay.
Not quite.
Because they definitely still looked like.
Yeah, they still
monsters.
looked weird. So,
Right.
which in Twitter, I don't know if you guys saw, we did get a shout out from one of those creatures.
We did see.
Yes.
We did.
I can't talk right now.
Because she's
But yeah,
so
so
starstruck.
excited. Yes, I'm so Star Trek. And but yeah, that was a thing where plants were used as a drug, but not as extreme a hallucinogenic.
Right.
Not like this one where it's so specific.
A whole other plane of
Yes.
occurrences.
Exactly. And then Doyle kind of has closure because he sells the flat and finds the alcohol in the piano and one of his stories. That was sweet. This episode had all kinds of and no, I am not saying them sarcastically, just doing it over the top.
No, it's because since that conversation was more likely than not all in his head to
Yes.
get some kind of validation that all right, I guess maybe
Yeah.
I was right thinking that way, that my father did like my
But
stuff.
it's interesting, how did he know he hid the alcohol in the piano unless he had seen it as a child and forgotten about it?
Right.
That's true.
Did he speak to him from beyond the
More of
grave?
more of that telepathy.
And there was a quick moment I'd like you guys to know. We talked about it a little bit, but want to know your thoughts. So the front of the building goes dark, and I thought it was because it was like the photo.
That's exactly what I
Okay.
thought. Yeah.
Because I was like, it looked ominous for a second, but I'm like, I think it's just a reference to the photo.
Right.
And he's not there now because he's selling it. Yes?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It was kind of weird at first because the show, you're like,
It was weird. Yeah, I didn't really think that it was.
I didn't think it was needed.
No, exactly, because it's like, no, we get that was the home from the
Yeah.
photo.
Yeah, we get you sold it.
And it's like, because it felt like you're going backwards with that, because it makes it seem
Yeah.
more of like dour and like it's supposed to be more life
looked
affirming.
dark, yeah.
Like, let's just keep it bright for that
Okay, did
shot.
people die? Yeah. All right, and then Stratton's at the station, and she gets a note: "Drop this or die."
All right, just
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm really getting tired of the Stratton thing. Like, I know we've been talking about like things that were going to run this whole season, but like this Stratton thing,
Right.
man, is it like just enough already with this little teases? Let's just move along.
No, I feel you.
We got to do more.
Gotta
We
get
gotta
off
do
the
more.
pot, guys.
Yes.
It needs to develop faster with more information. Not these little breadcrumbs of like, here's something, and you're like, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
Shit's going
Give
down.
us a little bit more.
Yeah, we need more.
A little bit more to work.
Because
All right.
I worry that the revelation, whatever it may be, is not going to be as exciting as this slow build up
It's
to
getting
it.
so much
Yes.
build-up. Yeah, it's not going to be able to live up to
Yeah.
It's gonna be like, okay.
That was it? All right.
Well, he's
Can we go
gonna
back
be
to the cave monsters?
Polish anarchist. Yeah.
We're going to see.
Spring Hill Jack?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Now we're going to see
He'll come
Doyle
back.
just taking more air gut. Like, that's it. I got to get back to Tui.
That'd be interesting. Well, it's one of those, could you take it in a smaller dose and not be as affected by it negatively? Like, worry about dying.
Right.
But I wonder how they make the antidote, because they kind of talked about it, but they didn't really
that's
get
true,
into
yeah.
it. If you want to go have some psychedelic trip and just have your antidote ready.
Yeah, just yeah.
That's why you need your buddy. So you go on your trip and your buddy administers the antidote while you're under.
There you go. Yeah, we got to get Tui with that moo-moo. Like,
Yeah.
all right. Oh, wow. Sir Arthur. Oof.
All right, we got a little bit of time for predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Apparently we're a loopy episode today.
Right.
We all belong in the loony bin. We're all
That's
a little
right.
loopy.
That's what it is. See, we're just staying on theme. That's what it is.
We are. Who's ready with something?
I predict that this Strat thing is going to be drug out for at least 2 more episodes and annoy me steadily as it happens.
Right.
Yes. Which is going to frustrate me, because it's like I would just like them to just pull the trigger on it and then see what happens after that. Like, let's see where the storylines kind of develop from there. But like just teasing
Sure.
it out like this, I'm like, ugh, all right.
I mean, I don't know. We do see that the team meets Bram Stoker next week.
Yes.
I'm super pumped
I'm
for
excited for that
super
one.
pumped.
Yes.
I'll go. I mean, I really have no idea prediction wise, so I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say
Go for
that
it.
I think someone might sabotage one of Houdini's escapes at one point, and we might get a very close encounter.
I think that would be exciting. I like that. I do think with vampires, nobody's going to be a real vampire, because there are plenty of groups that have thought they've been vampires and people have known about.
Right.
I'm like, wow, this is the most
And we
generic
keep- yeah.
information. But it's one of those, I have definitely heard of things where people thought they were vampires and they're just doing it. And like, it's not a uncommon concept.
Sure.
So these people will probably but whatever.
Yeah, and we tend to keep the show tends to keep itself grounded in reality. Yeah.
What
And then no.
Oh, so what I'm excited about is we're talking about Bram Stoker is that we've talked about like Doyle wanting to get away from Holmes, his signature character. I wonder. I don't know much about Bram Stoker. Like I don't know if he had those same reflections about Dracula as something that follows him along. So I'm curious to see
if they have a discussion.
Yeah, if they have a talk about that.
The two writers. Oh man, I'm so tired of writing this character. What about you? Me too, man. We need to retire them both. Sherlock Holmes meets Bram Stoker's Dracula. Boom. Like, new plot.
That's a whole new show. That's a spin-off right there. Stoker and Doyle.
Yes. I do think Stratton's thing is going to continue to be longer, and they're not going to give us enough information. Actually, they might go all the way to the end of the
Do you think it'll go all the way? Oh, man.
Because they're either not going to mention it the next episode, because they've done that too, where they'll give us a little information, pause, skip an episode a little bit. So maybe they're not gonna talk about all next week, and we won't know for a while. And I wonder who's gonna be the fan of Bram Stoker. Bram.
Friends call him Bram.
Dracula. Like bro. Who's going to be a fan of whom, because we have a few famous people all together.
Right. It seems like Dracula wouldn't be in Doyle's wheelhouse, it seems like.
No,
he might think it's a little bit like, ooh.
He's like, too much fiction there. Yeah. Your character's a little extreme.
Graphic.
But we'll see. I think that kind of covers up why. Let's let people know where they can find you, what shows online. Start with Frank.
Oh, you can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie and check me out. The new Preacher After Show, do Box Office Breakdown with Kari, MasterChef, General Hospital, Veep. I just live here, guys. After this, I'm going to crawl right under the table and go to sleep. So.
My name is Ty Matthews. Y'all can find me on Twitter, on Instagram at Ty Matthews PMA. After show wise, I do Monday Night Raw, Houdini and Doyle, American Ninja Warrior on Wednesdays, and Lucha Underground on Thursdays. So get some Lucha Libre in your life.
It sounds so exciting.
It's super exciting. It's for a wrestling show. It's very magic and very supernatural. There's ghosts and monsters and all sorts of stuff. It's dope.
Well, if you're interested in that, he has told you where to go find it.
Do it.
My name's Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's KaridLane. And you can find me on Box Office Breakdown with Frank. And then Hunters, which I don't think we have that many more episodes. That's Tuesday nights at 7. Vikings Wednesday at 8. And then, of course, here on Houdini and Doyle. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, thumbs up, 5 stars, iTunes. We appreciate your comments so much. And on Twitter, too. We love hearing your guys' thoughts on the shows, any suggestions, or, just what you guys think in general of how you think the show's progressing. I think that about covers it. Make sure to subscribe to AfterBuzz on all those wonderful social media platforms, and we will see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.